In fact, even Lin Yun was shocked when those ice field mammoths appeared. At first, he couldn't think of any methods to get them out of that crisis. But then, his magic array caught a wisp of life fluctuations. After a more thorough search, he found out that it actually came from under the ice field. What kind of creature was that? With his knowledge, he naturally knew that there was an ocean under the thick layer of ice, but the environment was special there. The temperature close to the surface was extremely low, making it hard for any lifeforms to survive. The only creatures that lived there should be deep in the water, yet the life fluctuation he caught was clearly close to the surface. This was the main reason Lin Yun was surprised. He instantly realized that this might actually be a boon. He then used the power of the magic array to analyze that fluctuation. The magic array never disappointed him, and this time was no exception. He ultimately came to the conclusion that this life fluctuation had to have come from a frightening existence comparable to an adult chromatic dragon. This meant that the power of the being below them surpassed that of any archmage. It was at least at the heaven rank. At the time, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Even he didn't anticipate that this planar trip would be this dangerous. Let alone the 1,000 ice field mammoths known as the Grim Reapers of the Ice Fields, there was also a heaven-rank magic beast. To be more accurate, this was the second time he'd met a heaven-rank magic beast since he came to this era. The first one was on the 8th floor of the magic tower in the Toulon mountain range. Lin Yun didn't panic and eventually felt pleasantly surprised. Yes, it was truly a pleasant surprise. From that faint, almost insignificant life fluctuation, he was able to discover that this heaven-rank magic beast was slumbering, and that it had been slumbering for a very long time. Otherwise its life fluctuations wouldn't have been so faint. The pressure it would emit after waking up would be enough to make those ice field mammoths not dare to approach. Thus, he made a plan and told part of it to the others. He wasn't willing to tell them everything because he felt that they would be unwilling if they knew about it. The heaven-rank magic beast would remove the threatening ice field mammoths after being awakened, but what about the heaven-rank magic beast? But Lin Yun didn't think much of it. He felt that the first thing that magic beast would do after having slumbered for so long would be to feed itself, and with so many ice field mammoths, it wouldn't bother with them. And what followed proved him right. The heaven-rank magic beast appeared and wantonly feasted on the ice field mammoths. The former overlords of the ice fields had now become prey, and they weren't able to do anything about it. This was truly ironic, and just as Lin Yun expected, that magic beast only killed the ice field mammoths and didn't care about them. Just like that, they were able to safely escape the danger zone. Lin Yun had a thrilling feeling as he recalled everything. It was a genuine heaven-rank magic beast after all. 3 hours had soon passed. The group finished resting and everyone was bursting with life, their power having recovered. But they still looked quite awkward. Their mage robes were covered in bloodstains, which came from the injuries they had received while dealing with the ice field mammoths. Although they'd just managed to escape from a disaster, the atmosphere was quite heavy. Not far away, Thorn looked worried. To be honest, he regretted having followed the young mage to this ice world. Before coming, he had been prepared to encounter some danger in this plane. But he hadn't expected it to be so abnormal. Those 1,000 charging ice field mammoths were enough to make the most powerful planar legions of the Raging Flame plane collapse, let alone that heaven-rank magic beast under the ice field. He saw that everyone had more or less recovered and gotten up. He looked at Lin Yun with a grave expression and walked over, saying with a gloomy voice, "Hi Mage Mapha, I wonder what you have planned next." Lin Yun had just finished meditating and smiled when he saw Thorn approaching. He could naturally see that this 5th-ranked sword saint didn't want to remain in this ice plane after everything he had just gone through, but Lin Yun didn't care. He hadn't planned on leading a group here to begin with. It was Thorn that had been set on following him. "I still have to go deeper." Lin Yun frowned as he pointed towards the north. "There is something I need there. If Sir Thorn feels that it is too dangerous and doesn't want to take the risk, you can lead the others and return to the Raging Flame plane first." In fact, Lin Yun had already discovered that the remaining 2 chromatic dragon crystals were set up somewhere in the north when they first reached the plane. The chromatic dragon crystals were the true reason he came to this ice plane. No matter how dangerous it was, he had to get his hands on the chromatic dragon crystals and return to the Raging Flame plane. He would only have 3 of them if he returned now, and although this would be a considerable harvest that would make any mage crazy, it wasn't the outcome he wanted. Only by gathering the 5 chromatic dragon crystals could his Doom Staff undergo a major transformation, which would be extremely important for the Doom Staff. What's more, he had spent a lot of effort and energy to get these chromatic dragon crystals. After spending over 3 months, how could he easily give up now? That's good. Thorn's expression suddenly turned blank. He looked indecisively. After struggling for a bit, he seemed to have made some kind of decision, and he turned to the others. After a few glances, he took a deep breath and said, "I see that everyone is ready. When shall we set out?" Lin Yun had a foolish expression on his face and took a while to react. From Thorn's answer, it seemed like he wasn't planning on leaving. "Do you mean that all of you will continue exploring with me?" "Yes." Thorn didn't hesitate before heavily nodding. In fact, while resting, he had thought of many things. The young mage before them had saved their lives not long ago. Thorn could clearly understand the young mage's plan now. He had wanted to draw all the mammoths to the same location to make that heaven-rank magic beast emerge while they escaped the trap. This definitely wasn't a coincidence. It was the young mage's plan all along. Although it sounded incredible, it truly played out just as he'd wanted. Thus, Thorn felt guilty about abandoning the young mage. Then, let's go. Lin Yun scratched his cheek. He really wasn't sure how to feel about this. It didn't make much of a difference to him whether he was alone or with a group. The team of 6 was soon ready to set off. They walked along the boundless ice field, heading north. Everyone was extremely cautious now. They were taking turns in casting mage eyes, checking their surroundings as they moved ahead. The ice field mammoths had left a shadow in their minds, making them remain cautious as they proceeded through the ice field. Fortunately, they didn't encounter any dangers for the next 2 hours. But then Lan Merlin suddenly stopped and crouched down to push away the snow on the ground. "What is this?" he muttered as something black was exposed. He spent some effort and pulled a few times before being able to take it out of the frozen ground. That unknown thing was half a meter long and was entirely black. It had been buried in the snow for a long time and wasn't showing any sign of rust. A greatsword. Thorn's pupils widened as he quickly rushed over and took it from Lan's hands, giving it a careful look. A few minutes later, he said once again, "It was made by a master alchemist, but it's already broken. This is only a part of a greatsword. Truly strange. How come this master alchemist rank weapon was buried deep in the snow? It looks like someone came to this plane before us. That's the only explanation I can think of," Ida said while frowning. "It should be the case." Yuri nodded in agreement. "Wait." At this time, Thorn was still holding onto the broken sword, when his expression suddenly changed. He looked as if he had seen a ghost. "What's the matter?" Everyone looked at Thorn, very curious. After all, what could make Thorn react like that? What the hell? After cursing, his expression gradually eased up. He took a deep breath and said, "I won't hide it from you, this sword was crafted using the techniques of the Third Dynasty's royal workshop." "What?" Everyone suddenly froze, including the silent Lin Yun. "Sir Thorn, are you saying that this broken sword is several millennia old?" Ida was also shocked as he looked at the broken sword in a daze.